Leeds United will not go up to the Premier League with Meslier in goal. That's the view of many Leeds United fans. Welcome back to Where Whites Walk. We're checking out whether it's the view of Jacob. Plus, January windows open. Is the number 10 the priority? Or actually, is it a new goalkeeper given that whole result? We're looking at the FA Cup preview with Harrogate Town, and we're asking Jake for his top 3 players that Leeds should sign in January. Plus, all the want-aways potentially as well. Have we seen Bamford players last game in a Leeds shirt? Welcome back to Where Whites Walk. It's 20 minutes of Leeds chat. We know there's far more bigger and far more popular Leeds chats views, but we've got the most, what we think were the most sensible and level-headed Leeds fan that there is to chat to. And Jacob, welcome back, Jacob. Happy New Year.
Yes, and to you, Mark. Thank you.
Let's jump straight into it, shall we then? The Leeds results over Christmas. Let's quickly have a look back on them because we haven't seen you since Boxing Day. I watched Leeds on Boxing Day. I went to Stoke and thought you were, well, what I saw through the fog, thought you were brilliant. Great at Derby, or got through it. Blackburn and Hull, different stories. Just can't score enough goals. What's your summary of Christmas in a nutshell?
Yeah, I thought obviously overall we remained unbeaten. That's the main thing. Obviously the Oxford game. I think I predicted that scoreline right, actually.
You did,
so
yeah.
I was pretty pleased with that one. And then, Stoke was just quite a comfortable game. Could have been more, should have been more. Derby was really tough. They made it tough for us, but obviously in the end, finally took one of those chances and got over the line there. And then Blackburn was just frustrating. Like they had a game plan, and Eustace did Farker again. He's defensively so much better than us, really. I mean, we had chances in that game as well, but God, yeah, just couldn't really break them down. Couldn't get over the line, and same old Leeds concede from a corner. And then obviously yesterday, throw it away again. So, but still at the top. That's the one positive. Still at the
Absolutely.
top. But
although Sheffield United
could have been a few more.
That's right. Yeah,
could have been a few
Blades
more.
Fans, but Blades fans want to remind you that without their points deductions, you wouldn't be top, of course.
Yeah.
More than that in a minute. All right, let's talk about Meslier, shall we? Then we've been here. We've been here before. Obviously, his gaff at Sunderland Sunderland are well in the picture now, actually. So that result could be that drop in the drop would potentially have ramifications for you. But joking aside, can you still go up with him in goal? He seems to cost you so many points over a season.
It's such a difficult one. Like you said there, he's cost us already this season. Cost us so many points when the game's won. Even like yesterday, that second one, all he's got to do is let it go over the bar or tip it over the bar, but he just tips it right to. I think it was Kamara, wasn't it, who scored?
Yeah, it was.
It's just silly, really. Just decision making, and but then like that's the priority for January. I feel getting a keeper in, because we saw it in a few cup games. Don't think Darlow's ready. I really don't think he could really see out the season. So it's just a tough one. But Meslier is costing us, and it's Farker's job to address that, really. And it's just a matter of time before surely something happens with Meslier there, and he gets dropped or even gets replaced.
What is it with him though? I've seen him pull off world class saves, but then in some games, is it a lack of concentration? Do you think, or is it because all right, there's not many games where Leeds get the opponents have lots of shots on goal, is it? So do you think it's a mindset of his that he isn't prepared, or is his relationship with his defenders in front of him, because they didn't look at all happy? That's all that from some of the whole shots that we've seen. What is it about him?
I just think it's a lapse in concentration. I feel like yesterday it was maybe the fact that the game's already won, kind of. Obviously it wasn't in the end, but it's just some like bizarre situations he manages to get himself into. It's just a weird one. Like you said, he pulled off some cracking saves, and overall, like I'm pretty sure he had the most clean sheets in the league last season, I think.
Yeah, it was certainly up there.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just decision making. Could be nerves, but he's a professional goalkeeper, so
Okay.
Surely. And he's been playing for Leeds for a while in the Premier League and at the top end of the Championship as well. But I just don't know what's going on. Could be a confidence thing as well. But yesterday should have been one. It was one. It was in the bag really, and he goes and throws it away.
The thing is, though, Jacob, that in a month's time we're going to be here again, aren't we? It could be in the Burnley game, it could be in the Sheffield United game where there's going to be a ruck. It's going to be a ruck made. He's just got him in him, and all goalkeepers make errors, but he just seems to make more than most, especially this season. Leads us then on to the next discussion point. You've already mentioned this, but lots of Leeds fans are saying the number 10 is the priority. Need a new number 10 or a number 10. But you think now a goalkeeper actually trumps that?
Yeah, I think, but I can also see why people are on about that number 10. Like we saw last season, we had Rutter in there, and Rutter was phenomenal for us. But Aronson scored more goals than Rutter already. I know that's not the main thing. Rutter was a far better playmaker than Brendan Aronson is, 100%. But Aronson's, got goals in him. His work rates off the ball and even on the ball driving forward is good, I feel. But maybe a backup, because we've even seen Nonto playing there sometimes. But it seems like yesterday, Nonto and Ramazani didn't even get on the pitch. So it seems like Farke's, seemed to stick with Brendan Aronson. But definitely, maybe someone else for that position would do as good.
What's going on with Noto this season? Because in some games you watch him and you think he's happy to take on his man and run. In other games he just seems invisible. Is there something going on with him? Is he itching for another move?
I don't really know. I mean, he has been on and off with a few little injuries here and there, but I just think it's form wise. Dan James and Manuel Solomon have been by far our best wingers, and rightly so. You've got to stick with them. Like especially Dan James this season. He's scoring goals for fun, really. Like we saw yesterday as well, getting himself on the score sheet. But yeah, Nonto just hasn't. I don't know. Maybe even without Somerville there. Maybe without the two Somerville and Rutter there from last season, maybe he's lost a little bit of that confidence. But he's still by far one of the best players in the Championship when he's on it.
Okay. All right then. It's FA Cup week, of course, this week, and one of the first questions I want to ask you, Jacob, as a Leeds fan, is when you think of Leeds as the size of the football club it is and all the titles you've won in the past, why is it the FA Cup? Just you haven't had that love in with it, especially in recent times. Let's go back and just have a look. So just the one FA Cup, of course, win. But if we look at this, the third number of third round exits in recent years. So 2 fifth round exits in recent years, Chelsea and Fulham, and then the years before that, third round exits to West Ham, Crawley, Arsenal, QPR, Newport County, Sunderland, Rochdale, of course. For a club as big as Leeds is, why is the FA Cup just something you haven't fallen in love with, certainly in recent years?
Oh, I just don't know. Some of those teams in there. I remember I was at the Newport game in 2017-18. That was a shocker. I just think it's sort of, in the past few seasons, we've always been sort of either fighting to stay up, fighting to go up. Like last season playoffs, but last season we had a fairly decent run. Obviously, that Chelsea game, we were quite unlucky not to really get a draw out of that, to be honest. But yeah, we've just never really, like, even Crawley when we were in the Premier League, Rafinha was playing that day and we lost 3-0. So I really don't know what's up with us in the FA Cup. But surely we get past Harrogate on Saturday.
Come on to that in a second. Do you think it's because in most seasons you've been playing for something, whether it's been to stay in the Premier League or fighting for promotion from Championship or actually League One, 10 years ago. But
yeah,
so you've always had another thing. You've never had this kind of mid-table kind of security where everything's going fine. Do you think it's the fact that there's bigger priorities for Leeds all the time?
Yeah, I definitely feel in recent years that's been the case. But I also feel that if like we saw last year, the draw we had first round was Peterborough, I think, then Plymouth. So Peterborough, Plymouth, and then obviously you got Chelsea. But if we get someone else, we could, you look at the draw you get, and you could go all the way to the semi-finals, really, depending on who you get. But I definitely think it's because we've always had someone to play for, and it's just the league is the priority at the end of the day.
Let's talk about the Harrogate game then, as to whether this is a priority this weekend. I mean, it's your first competitive meeting with, I suppose, your neighbours, or one of your neighbours. Anyway, they're looking forward to it. Can I guess that most Leeds fans could care one jot about it? I mean, you want it would lose to Harrogate, of course, but this is not a priority, is it?
No, it's not a priority at all. But then again, it's I was thinking about it earlier. It's a really good chance for some players who haven't had regular minutes, like Josh Guiavogi in midfield, Isaac Schmidt, a left back. I don't know why Farke is not trusting him to play, to be honest. Good chance maybe for Darlow to come in, and I think definitely Darlow or Alex Cairns will come in and play this one in goal. Even for somebody like Mateo Joseph to get a goal, get his confidence up. And for some of those players that haven't had minutes, even Joe Gelhardt, if he hasn't gone on loan by next week, even him to get involved. So I'm looking at it from that way. But we should be getting through to the next round.
Okay. All right, brilliant. Last thing this week, the January transfer window is open. So who do you want as a Leeds fan to sign? Drop it into the comments below. We'll give some shout outs to this next week. But Jacob, what about for you? Who should be, any names you want to see come in?
It's a really difficult one. I think overall for the best part, we have a really good solid squad that is capable of fighting for automatic promotion. But one thing that needs addressing is obviously the goalkeeper situation. This may be really ambitious, but I have seen floating about Kelleher shouts, because I feel Liverpool want him to get maybe a loan for a good run of games in the first team. Obviously, he has been playing, and then today Alisson came back in. But that would be a really great one. Also looking at James McAtee from Manchester City, who could come in on loan in that number 10 position. I watched him for England under 21s this season. He was, he's a very good player. But apart from that, really, I can't really pick out any names. I know Louis Barry's sort of been floating about as well, but I feel for the Championship, Joel Perreault and Mateo Joseph are more than good enough. To score goals. Maybe a bit of left back cover as well, because Firpo's injured at the moment, Byron, but we do have Schmidt as well, but Farke hasn't really been too keen on. No, so it's a weird one. But yeah, definitely a goalkeeper and maybe even a number 10.
Okay.
For me.
We've ignored asking you the big question this week, which is about Farke himself. However, after the Blackburn result and then following the Hull results, the anti-Farke brigade come back out. I'm not suggesting that you're a member of it, but can you see people's point of view saying we need to get rid?
I can. The one criticism I have of him, and I think most Leeds fans will agree, is his decision-making when it comes to substitutions. He's very reluctant on when to make subs and who to bring on. Against Blackburn, he brought Bamford on instead of a few more promising players, and even yesterday didn't make any change, didn't bring on Nonso or Ramazani, who could have added to the score sheet. But I feel, we're top of the league, we're playing well, we've got the best goal difference in the league, and there's so many games to go. So yeah, stick by him, stick by the team.
Okay, but you were here this time last year.
We were.
Fingers crossed. It doesn't happen. Happen again. Although if you listen to Southampton fans, they would say to you, "Don't bother coming up."
No, I know.
Just stay where you are.
I would say I feel sorry for them, but I don't at all.
No.
Sorry,
one day at Wembley,
fans,
you'd definitely fulfil sorts of.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Jacob, for another week. Enjoy the FA Cup game at Harrogate. Should be a good one, I hope. And we'll see you guys in 7 days' time to preview the January fixtures. Join us for that. And if you're a Leeds fan that wants to come on and have a chat with Jacob each week, drop us an email in the address at the bottom. You can see in the comments. We'd love to have you on there. And thank you very much for watching. Drop us a subscribe if you haven't done so already. Have a good week.